Okay, well, we usually start, Cyndy, with, Twyla is very good at doing an opening prayer for
Good.
us and a closing, unless you'd like to do it.
No,
Unless you
no.
guys thought it.
Yeah, just show me your regular, whatever you girls do, yeah.
And so, I want to bring everybody's minds together here and, in the present time. And that's the first thing I would like to do is just going to imagine that there's a white ring all around the outside of the table and we're all inside of it. And that just bringing us closer together. And then we want to say, thank you, Mother, Father, God, for allowing us to be here together today and for having provided us this great guest in Cyndy and that we can learn from her. We're all very grateful for that and grateful for each other and the information and the friendship, wonderful food and the hospitality that's provided for us. And we come with an open heart, open mind, we be receptive, we also with gratitude that we can all be here. I'd like to ask if anybody would like to add anything to the grace or to the requests. I'm going to ask for our guides and our healing masters and our, especially Floyd, to come forward with his crew, his posse, and all the other people. And with that, we will say, and so be it, and so it is. We'll be of one mind and one group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. So tell me about your group, and do you have this is our schedule, the way we always do it, or you do it different every time? And what is the, do you have someone speak, do you meditate? Tell me what your group is and how it's working for you.
Well, we're trying to get into a format. And so we have been, yeah, it's just a Mexican salad. Pass it around. It's not dessert or anything, trust me.
Well, I do dessert first.
We're starting here.
We've got that.
Girl
figured
after my
out.
own heart.
We charge the room, we do the prayer, and then we invite the spirits in. And as Floyd said at that one of the billets that you gave me, he said, invite me in first,
wow.
and I'll try to bring in the other spirit guides, the master teachers for everybody else, and
Too cool.
so that's what we've been doing.
Very cool.
And then we have practiced being quiet and being in the zone and feeling the stillness, getting our brains into the stillness. We kind of share a few things while we're eating, and then we go into the stillness, etc. after that. And so we are just trying to, and that's part of the reason you're here, okay? I mean, that's what I'd really like to gain from tonight is to figure out exactly what else we can do to, move this along a little bit.
Okay.
Last week after dinner we did show up for a little bit based on some of the things that Debbie learned with you.
Cool.
And
Yay.
it was fun. We practiced
Yay.
and it was a good little after session or something that we could do. I thought
We also last week, Carissa filmed.
Awesome.
Video.
Awesome. Yeah.
And it was pretty bizarre. I was sitting here, the camera was down there, and I mean everybody's been laughing and calling it. It looked like my head was floating. There was nothing
Too
else.
cool.
She had the-
I
the
love
black
it.
And it was all
Love it.
It was all like golden almost. I mean, it kept changing
Like it was
hues.
glowing, like a light was coming
Like there was a
on.
candle under it.
Yes,
And
and
that is too
and-
cool.
But then when we were charging the room, that was the part that I really noticed when I watched the playback. My hand got just white light. The palm of my left hand. And
Love
this is my strong energy hand. It always has been. So it's cool.
I love it. I love it.
So I am going to get a pillow. I can barely see.
We're hoping to be able to get orb pictures.
And you should. Yes, absolutely. You should be able to do that. I mean, definitely. Definitely.
So
Yeah, so if you have any words of wisdom as far as how we should proceed or anything we should be doing that we're not doing that might help us be more cohesive and move forward, that would be helpful.
And so you eat and you share, and then you maybe go to quiet. So do you have formal meditation, like a structured meditation, here's how we're doing it? Or no, I just do what I want and you do what you want, or we just kind of get all quiet, or however you're doing it, however you know what I mean? Are you doing
I
it
think
one
that's
way
kind
or
of,
many
that's
ways?
how it's been so far as everybody goes. It's not structured yet.
But if there's a structure that would work,
Yes.
it would be wonderful to hear about it.
Okay.
We are so open.
Okay, and remember y'all, anything that I share, and you know, doesn't matter to me if you do it or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you stuff, and y'all do
for
it
you
whatever
when
the
you
heck y'all want to
do.
do. It doesn't matter to me. But I'll share with you things that I do know work, and I do know, you know, will bring progress and development. So, but you know, there's many ways to get there. You know what I mean? And so if you say, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, then you figure out your way, whatever your way is, I mean. Okay, so then you might have quiet time. Then, so are you doing, someone said there were a chiropractor here? Chiropractor? Someone doing hands on?
Two of them.
So are you guys doing energy work in your offices? I know Twyla does some. Do you do any energy work or no? Okay.
But I'm open.
Okay. So,
And Vicki and I were trained a few years ago in the reconnection.
yes, yes.
And with animals, we actually went
Oh, I
to
love
Phoenix and
it.
did it on with animals.
Yay, yay.
And she's so good.
Okay, so,
Well, I think we're all trying to get our spirit guides to learn who they are. I think have we all done that yet? We did that too.
That's true.
you had a week where you worked on meeting and connecting with your spirit guide.
And trying to,
Okay.
coming up with their name, learning who
Cool,
they
yeah,
are.
yeah. Okay, so on the earth plane, you know, if we wanted to go to New York City, well, you could fly or you could drive, and I could take the back roads and you could take the interstate, and we could all get there eventually. Or we could all say we're gonna get on the same highway and drive the same road and get there at relatively the same time, right? I mean, we could say, okay, we're gonna do this interstate, it's gonna be quicker and faster, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, energetically, if we say, okay, we're gonna come together as a group and we're going to, you said have quiet time, but we need just meditation, that we're gonna have meditation. So we need to have a structured way that we're all going to meditation. And not that at home you couldn't do it, but if we want to group magnify energy, then the group needs to be doing the same thing. Otherwise, again, it's just like we're going to New York, and she got there, and we all got a different road, we all got there at a different time, we all got there, which is fine, but it's not the same energy if you're doing group work, that cohesiveness that it makes if we're all doing the same thing at the same time. So, you need to, you know, have some structured plan, and then whatever you like, you know, but like.
How would you suggest that?
Well, like, you know, you would say, well, we come in and we light 4 candles, 1 for each of the directions. We call in the 4 archangels. I mean, you know what I mean? So you're gonna have some structure. I mean, and then you're gonna do your recipe, whatever your recipe is. And then you're gonna sit down and you're going to you're gonna do deep breathing. After your deep breathing, you're gonna do body relaxation, because these are the pieces to meditation, okay, this is what you must do. You must do breath, you must do body relaxation, then the meat of your meditation, and then the coming back up. So 4 steps. So breathing, you know, normal breathing isn't going to instill in you the change of consciousness that you need. So you're gonna have to do deep breathing and rhythmic breathing. I mean, there's a bunch of different breath you can look up, but you need to do a couple. So like in my meditation class, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what I say. Okay, everybody, let's do 6 belly breaths, and then 6 alternative nostril, and then go to regular breathing. So if we're in class, that's what I tell everybody they're gonna do. Okay, and then everybody, you can breathe faster than me, you know what I mean? So we all just do this, but we're all doing the same types of breathing. We're all doing the same number of breaths. So we're creating this sort of like, imagine one pulse to heaven. Okay, in that breath, we're like widening this pulse, okay? So we're making cohesive, bigger noise, we could say. So, so you're gonna do your breathing, then after your breathing, you have to do your body relaxation, which, you know, some people like to go like, you know, like in my classes, again, we see like, light and energy molasses. It just comes down the body and down the body and down the eyes and the face, and it relaxes and warms and relaxes and warms and just deeper and deeper and deeper into peace and spirit. Okay, but some people like to start at the feet, and so the energy comes up from the feet up and totally relaxed, totally just floating away, just float. So you have to decide as a group, are you guys going to go down or are you going to go up? I mean, you know, whatever, it doesn't really matter, but you have to have a body relaxation time which opens the gap between the mind and the body so the body can't run the show. Remember, if you're sitting here trying to meditate, your foot's like, I'm itching. Well, my butt hurts. Well, my shoulder. So if we don't put some gap between the body and the mind spirit, then the body keeps us in the material realm. I mean, it keeps us, this consciousness, playing in stupid things it wants us to notice instead of being in spirit consciousness. So again, you can, you know, find online or whatever a general body relaxation, but always do the same body relaxation. Don't do it different every week. Don't change it up. Don't. Every time then you come together, you're training your mind body to be quiet, to surrender, so that my spirit can move freely. Okay, so remember, just like going to New York, we don't want to change up how we do our body relaxation, because in your brain is like, well, what are we going to do today? Are we going to go up or are we going to go down? Are we going to go to the east? You know, so the brain just keeps you all enchanted. So we do the same. So then the meat of your meditation, which is either a quietness, we could go into the stillness, we could, we're all going to go to, and everyone has to have the collective idea of the meat before we go. So you do your logical thinking time before you get into meditation, meaning if I'm the leader today, I don't spring it on you after the deep breaths on the bottom. Now I tell you beforehand, so your body is already knowing what it's expected and supposed to do. So then your meat could be, we're going to go to the water's edge at a beach, and our angel is going to walk up to us from afar. But everybody has the collective idea. We know what we're supposed to see. We know where we're going. We know what the vision is. Or we're going to go to a crystal healing chamber up in the sky. Everybody knows we're going, you know, so before you go on your meditation journey, your meat is explained and everybody has a common knowledge of what you're going to do. And the meat of meditation, you know, in the beginning really only has to be 2 to 5 minutes. Now, the more you meditate, then you can do it 20 minutes, because then you're able to hold it there. Meaning, in the very beginning, your body is going to let you do that, because it'll start wiggling and itching, and you know, I mean, you're just all wigged out. So, like the first meditation, it might be 15 minutes, and that was for your breathing, your body relaxation, your 3 minutes on the beach, and then you see what I mean? But I mean, eventually, then you can meditate for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you know, for longer periods of time. But don't expect that in the first time, because that's probably not going to happen, and then you just get frustrated, and then the body just won't let you do it anyway. So you're going to do breathing, a recipe of breathing, whatever your recipe is. 6 of these, 3 of these, 4 of these, whatever. So you want to do breathing for several minutes, intentional breath. And when I say breathing, you know, like I call them nighttime breaths. So when I just made up this name. So like if you get in bed at night and you're laying there on your bed and you do this exaggerated like in that nighttime breath, I did intentional release on that bed. You know what I mean? I just surrendered, let it all go into that bed. So whenever we're going to do meditation, so I say, okay, we're going to start out with 3 nighttime breaths. And every single one of us are making sounds out loud. I mean, we're not trying to be quiet. We're all at our own pace, just taking that big inhale and then, and as you do that, you're surrendering, your body into the chair. Meaning you're not sitting here stiff, separate from just like your bed, right? When you do that at night, you're really going in. The bed is doing the work. You're not doing the work. So the bed is holding you up and the bed is doing the work. So in those breaths, you're allowing the chair to be the chair and you're just energy sitting upon it, just being supported by the chair or couch or whatever it is you're doing. So you're going to do your breathing, and that is 2 deep breaths of surrender. And then usually we do maybe some rhythm breathing, which that would be like count to 8 in and 8 out. So your inhale would be 8. Your exhale is 8. And let's say we would do 4 rhythm breath, which is the same, inhale and exhale, 8 in, 8 out, whatever. So so you're going to do, nighttime breaths and then rhythm breathing for a certain amount, 6 of these, 4 of these, whatever. And then you just go to normal breathing, not any exaggerated, but just a normal breath, a normal allowing your body. At that point, then you're just going to notice I've done my deep breathing, I'm fixing to go down the body, I'm fixing to do my body relaxation. So remember, you want to keep your brain sort of enchanted, because if you don't, it's going to say, shit, I need to do the laundry. Man, I got to do the laundry. So you got to keep it going, So at that moment, then when there's nothingness, if she's still doing 2 last breaths, but I'm kind of ahead of her, so now I've got to sit here, then what you do is you bring your awareness to your chest as it rises and falls. So I'm still noticing breath, right? I've been doing my breathing, I'm still noticing breath until we're all done with our breathing. And then we do our body relaxation again. It could be top to bottom, bottom top, whatever you like to do. Do it the same all the time. And then we do the meat, whatever we've decided the meat is. And the meat could be, we're just going to do breathing today and breathe God's love into our heart. The work today could be, we're going to send peace and calm to Syria. And so we put a map on the table before we did our meditation, and we draw Syria, and we put a heart over it, and then in our brain, that's the image that we all hold, okay? So we have collective, unified thought as to what we want to do, as to what we want our goal, as to what the intention is. And one of the ones I do a lot is like I breathe in God energy to be a better healer, because I want to be a healer. So I breathe God energy into my hands, and so that's what I do during my meditation. I just see God's energy coming into my hands. So then you've done your quiet time, you've done your meat of it, and then so you have to have a ritual way to come back up to normal consciousness. And so then normal consciousness is, I usually bring a big breath back to my heart, because you want to bring yourself back to your body. At this point, we've been detached from body, okay? But now we're trying to bring our awareness back to body. So a big breath in my heart, and then I wiggle my fingers, I wiggle my toes, I count from 1 to 5, and I open my eyes. So again, you can do whatever you want to do, but you need something, and everybody needs to be doing the same thing.
So would we all finish on time and somebody give a cue, or you
Yes.
just finish? Okay.
Yes.
So
You need to have one person that is leading, and so like, let's just say if we were going to go to the ocean and see our guide there and speak with our guide about whatever our guide would like to talk to us about, we could ask them a question, and we could all have a different question. We said, we're going to meet our guides on the beach today, and you'll be able to ask them a question about your own life, your own guidance. So then let's just say we're in quiet time, because your leader person is the one who's saying, like, okay, take six deep breaths, take your belly breath, now do 6 rhythmic breathing, bring your awareness to your heart, the heart just as it rises, your chest as it rises and falls. Then the leader person is going to bring that energy down your body, totally relaxed, totally at peace, totally relaxed, totally at peace. And then just in your mind, so they're kind of telling you, and then they'll give you like 3 minutes of quiet time, and then they'll say, and now look at your angel guide one last time, and over the next minute, tell them goodbye. So it kind of gives you that last little minute, instead of just going, okay, it's done, because what if you were in mid-sentence? What if you were in mid, where you wanted to be? So you give them a hint by either saying something to their angel, or you could say like, bring your awareness that your body is here in this room. Then that's telling you, okay, I'm gonna have to go back to that body in a minute. You see, so it's kind of a 1 minute primer before the end of it. And then again, they would say like, okay, take a deep breath at your heart and breathe in all God's love, all God's light. Breathe that back into this life, back into this world, back into this time and space. And then wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and open your eyes. So, but and you say, well, that's very boring to do it the same, but you will make much more progress with sameness than you will with differentness. So, and it is a way you want your mind and your body to be so bored that you get to leave. So you really want boredom. I mean, that's the goal. You want your brain to go, oh yeah, I remember this. I know what we're gonna do next. Yeah, I know. So we quiet it down enough where it quits being like, what's next? Oh my God, what's going on? So that consciousness can get quieter to allow you to go to the multidimensional places and spaces. So it is boring. I mean, the bottom line, it is boring. Meditation is very boring. But
once you start going out,
I know, that's the coolest thing. And you're right, it's sort of a game of, will it take your mind 2 weeks to quiet down and her mind 6 weeks to go? And see, everybody's different, you know what I mean? So we could have meditation and 4 of you go, oh my God, it was so great tonight. And one person say, shit, I didn't go anywhere. You see what I mean? Because their brain wasn't in that place. But you have to keep doing the same all the time. And and you're training, your body and your brain to do these things. It will quiet down. It will surrender. It will allow you to get into that space, between heaven and earth. It's just you have to keep doing the sameness. I mean, if you look at, Buddhist monks, remember, they don't do it different every day. They don't. They go to the temple and they do the very same thing every day for tens and years, 70 years, okay? Because once you've built the road, then it's quicker and quicker to get there and easier to get there. And you'll, like in the beginning, maybe it took you 10 minutes to settle down into your body. And in time you say, oh shit, I can get there in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? I can just get my brain and get my body and boom, I'm already where I want to be. So, same. And, probably you should play in energy. You guys opened up with energy. Every week you should play in some kind of energy, whether that is an energetic game that you're doing with one another or hands-on healing that you're doing with one another. And again, it only has to be 10, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? You're not saying a long period. But the more, remember, all energy is just manifesting in different ways. So if you can do hands-on healing, you can do meditation. If you can do meditation, you can do hands-on healing. Those things actually widen each other's door. So you want to do everything you can that is vibrationally opening your energy to spirit. And that means hands-on healing, which is opening the aura and opening, the energy centers and stuff like that. So part of, sensing spirit and being open to them is taking down the barriers which we've created, and those barriers are in the aura body. So the hands-on healing opens and resensitizes, we could say, that aura field to let you feel what's always there, what has been and always will be there.
And don't you feel that when you start doing this, you start working with an energy field that, because you can feel it, especially if we're giving each other healings and what have you, that will help to establish our own knowing.
Oh, absolutely.
It really helps you to know that you're doing it.
Absolutely. And even if me and you did healing today and you said, I'm filthy, I didn't feel anything. I sat there and and you said, I didn't feel anything. It doesn't matter, y'all remember, it doesn't matter if that person, because when they say I don't feel a thing, all they're saying is my aura body is so strong and I've made it so strong, I didn't feel that at all. Right? Because the energy was there and the energy was working. So it's only saying that their own resistance was so big. I didn't feel a thing. I had this one girl in meditation, she was so funny. So there's we do 5 people sit in the chair and 5 people are standing behind the chairs to do hands-on healing. Okay, so she's in class and there's someone behind her, and so we're doing our hands-on healing. And so this girl right here in class, she said, I never feel healing. I never do. This is probably week 4. I never feel anything. I don't feel spirit. I just don't. And so I said, okay, everybody, let's all just, because usually I'll say the people in sitting here, close your eyes. You see what I mean? So then I said, okay, you close your eyes, everybody else stay awake. Now you're going to watch me. And so then I'm calling God and spirit, you know what I mean? And I'm just bringing energy. And so then she's saying, and I said, okay, close your eyes, you're just going to be the receiver. And so she said, I don't feel anything, but her head was following my hands exactly. And she'd say no, and I'd move back, and she'd move back, and I'd say, do you feel anything? No, I don't. Okay, so look how our brain is just a liar. You know what I mean? It's because you are responding to energy. Even if you say, I don't feel it, you just keep doing it. You keep doing it. You keep doing it. You keep doing it.
And eventually they will feel it.
Exactly. Yeah. Eventually that connection will occur between the mind and the body and the etheric realms. Oh my God, that is there. I can feel it. So it's really just a mental place that she was in that she couldn't feel it. And some of us, again, are denser. Some of us have more protection for whatever reasons, whatever's happened to us in our life, or whatever even societal kind of cultural norm we believed, that God couldn't talk to us, that spirit was way far away. I mean, whatever these cultural thoughts are too, kind of build that up. And we have that playing in the field will energize and sensitize it so that you know that you are connected and that you can feel and sense that you've always been able to do that. So you need to have structure when you're coming here and kind of a recipe, we're going to come in and we're going to do 20 minutes of our hands-on healing or our playtime or whatever you decide that is, playing in energy, then we're going to do 20 minutes of meditation, and then, I don't know if you guys talk out loud or learn something or whatever it is you're doing, And Debbie came to Tarot, and remember, any art, spiritual art, is opening centers for spirit to work. So you could play with the pendulum, you could play with rocks and stones, you could do hands-on healing. I mean, anything that you want to do is nudging that etheric energy body to open and remember and allow. And so we can be separate from it, or we can say open. And playing in spirit tool says open, right? So, and we might say, well, that tool's not for me. Oh, I don't like the pendulum, and I don't like rocks, and I don't. It doesn't really matter, again, because she might like rocks, and she, you know what I mean? So as long as we're, again, collectively playing, then it doesn't matter if one person says, well, that wasn't for me, da-da-da, because not everything is for everybody. I mean, that's okay. But playing in it at all still brings openness, awareness, etc. and helps everything else. It's like you're weaving together your connection and your road to spirit. And the more you do your hands-on healing, the more you do your meditation, the more you do tarot, the more you do any of it, you're widening and weaving that road to get messages and perceive and see and sense. You're giving them a framework to do that in.
I like how you say playing with the energy rather than teaching or whatever that,
that was how we learned it.
Yeah,
They
that's
actually
kinda
had
cool.
us practice playing.
Yes.
And said,
Yes.
think of it like a slinky. And right away, we could feel the energy going from one hand to the other and back and forth.
And so you could say, we're going to start out with our slinky every time. You know what I mean? So whatever you like. But yes, you're playing with the energy, because the more you play, the bigger the doorway gets between you and there. The allowing, the opening to that.
It sounds very satisfying. We would have good experiences from that, and we'd be validating and feeling and creating more harmony, I think also, amongst us, because we'll be working in the same energy field.
And it also brings in, if she's had a bad day and she's, kind of quote out of it, remember, if we're all doing that same meditation, we're entraining her in it. You see what I mean? So instead of, she was doing her own and she was doing her own, and, doing the same makes the pulse bigger, and even a resistant who's had a bad day is drawn into pulse, because one person can't not be where 7 are, right? I mean, the energetically. So it's good for, even if you say, well, I've had a really bad day, I don't want to go. It's good to go anyway, because it will raise you from where you are. You may not get as deep as everybody else, but you will get past whatever your little problem is. Whatever your little, I had a bad day is about.
Is that why I sleep great after these meetings? After we do this. I mean, I go home and I go right out. Yeah.
Okay, now, y'all can continue eating at any time. Okay, but you
What do
notice,
you eat?
because you don't eat before you do spirit work. Y'all cracking
I
cracking me up.
I don't know. I just got. You need. I don't know. That was interesting.
You are cracking me up. Okay, y'all, here.
Should
Well,
we
that's
not
just
be
after
eating?
work.
Should we not be eating then? Should we skip the eating part and
You should
just
do
go
that at
right
the
into
end,
the?
right,
Do it.
if you're gonna have. Okay, so remember, y'all, just energetically, what is food? It's one of the densest things on the planet. So we're trying to rise up to heaven, and we just filled our belly with the densest thing on the planet. Then we're making it harder on ourselves. So you're probably not going to get nearly what you could get. And experiment with it and try and say 4 weeks we're going to eat and 4 weeks we won't. You see what I mean? And then say like, okay, well, how did I feel when we did that, and how did I feel when we didn't do that? So your deal with food is like, anytime I'm going to work, I won't eat for at least 3 hours and maybe 4 hours. Okay, and so if I'm starving, I might have 1 cracker. You see what? Because you don't want to be starving, but you really don't want your body in the process of digestion. Because that's an earth plane, very body-centered thing, and your body's not going to want you to go anywhere because it's got work to do. You see what I mean? So you kind of want emptiness, but not starvation. So it is kind of a funny thing. And so if anything, when you come, you could have a glass of wine and have just crackers, and everybody has 2 crackers. That's, you see what I mean? So you don't want your function to be digesting. And then after I do billets, I will always eat, y'all, because what's that doing for me? Grounding me. Yeah, it's bringing me right down to my body, my present, my physical. Yes. So you really don't want to eat before you do meditation. You really don't want to eat before you do energy work, because that's taking then your body's own natural system and giving it a job. And you don't want it to have a job other than to be with God, to be with spirit.
So what about drinking wine and alcohol?
I do on occasion. I certainly don't do it every time. You know what I mean?
If
So
we're coming to do this work, it seems to me, I learned that it was very interfering with the process.
it really just depends on y'all, the sacredness of it. Remember, if we came in, and I would certainly never recommend like smoking dope or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because that's actually lower frequency vibration. So, wine in of itself, to have 1 or 2 glasses, but you don't want to be at the place where there's a buzz, because a buzz is not the place where you want to go to spirit. You see what I mean? So, and again, it depends on the sacredness of it too. If we came together and, we were celebrating, she got a new job this week or something, and so we could do that in celebration because it's a sacred thing at that moment. But see, you're probably using your wine to have a little bit of de-stressing and body relaxation, which you're going to get that when you do your body relaxation. Right? So you're just going to get that in a different form than what you've been getting it. And again, there's nothing wrong with drinking, and I'm the big party girl ever, but I usually don't when I'm trying to work with spirit, because anything that is falsely opening senses also opens your false understanding of what that means. Like, oh my God, I went to spirit and I saw this. Okay, was that the inhibited part of your brain, or was that really spirit? And then you don't know. You know what I mean? Then you don't know. So to not do that, then I was having an experience that was other outside of my field, outside of my knowing. But again, you don't want to be hungry. You don't want to be thirsty. Actually, water is like the best conduit of spirit, y'all. So everybody, start drinking your, actually what I do if I'm going to work. Like, I eat 4 hours prior and then I start drinking water so that I have lots of, I'm not dehydrated at all. And water is a conductor of spirit. The more water you have, if you ever go on an ocean cruise or anything, I mean, you're psychic as hell because water's everywhere. So the more water you have in you, the better. And then save your food until you want to come down. Your food is a grounding source, and at the same time, y'all don't be starving, because if you're starving, you won't get to where you want to be either, because your body will say, I need food, I need food, I need food.
But it's a really good point that we should, if we're coming to the meeting, then we should try to have a decent lunch.
Yes,
so that when we get
absolutely
there, and
you
if you're-
should.
If you want
Mhm,
something,
mhm.
have a piece of fruit or
Yes,
something on the way
yes.
over here,
It is. And actually, I plan my days around spirit. I mean, I truly do. If I have to work, then I do. I plan my meals and my food around spirit, and absolutely I do. Yeah.
You start creating sacred space in yourself.
Yes, yes. And you're telling your body, here's what we're doing tonight, and here's what I expect of you. You know what I mean? I expect of you to connect with God and angels. I expect with you to be open to spirit, So yeah, you're setting up all kinds of good energy pathways.
One of the questions that I was asking you in the beginning was about the different levels of energy. The spirit guides, the master teachers, the angels, the archangels, the healing guides, all of the above.
Okay, and then let's go back to drinking and drugging. Whatever we like to do, whatever it is. Now, if you're going to have a party night, and we all have said it's a party night, and we're going to come and play in spirit and drink, remember that's a different intention, and we know, and we're not really giving that too much weight. You see what I mean? Like, if we're all coming together to play tonight, we're going to drink a party, then we're going to have a party with spirit. But we're not going to ask life-changing questions or, we're just playing. Okay, so there's, remember, a difference between I'm playing with spirit and have a good time versus I'm, really doing my work. So, and there's nothing wrong if everyone knows we're coming together to play with spirit, and we're going to play with tarot, and we're going to play with our pendulum, and we're going to drink and have a good time and laugh and just goof off. Then that's an okay way to play in spirit, but again, we wouldn't give a lot of weight. Yeah, Okay, so these are just pictures to help our brain understand, because it's really not like this out there in the universe. You know what I mean? So we just, because the way we learn is very visual sometimes, so we're making a picture, but it's not this way out there. So there's God, this energy that has always been and always will be, and so we know that God is not a man, and we know that God is not sitting on a throne, and we know that God is not judging. We know that God is not even human-like. Okay, humans are way down the line from what God is. So God is so different, we can't even comprehend what that is. All we know that God is life and creative and allowing and light. So it is vibrational frequency that expands, because life expands, right? That is life. And it always has been and always will be. And it is so great that if you or I, when we say I talk to God, we didn't really talk to God. We talk to a source, a life being, you know. But remember, God is so powerful, and the vibration that it carries, you would dissolve in the presence of God. You couldn't exist. You would just disintegrate. Like if I threw you on the sun would immediately eat you alive. There'd
Yeah.
be nothing. Okay. So when we say we talk to God, we didn't really talk to God. We talk to a God particle that has descended down into a vibrational frequency that we can connect with. So, but remember, no one would understand this. So we're just going to let him say God. And we're going to let him think that's God, but it's not. Okay. So, like here was God, and we're just pretending that. And so God is like this energy that was powerful and compact and just everything, and then God, for whatever reason we don't know, God began to expand and create. Okay, so the energy moved out from God. Okay, so then that first level down here, we're just going to call it light, and we don't really know what that is again either. These are realms of energy so far beyond us, we don't know what that is. And then underneath that is some angels, and underneath that is collective consciousness, and underneath that is God, spirit guides, underneath that is your dead people, underneath that is thought forms and humans. Okay, now there are lines here, but these kind of overlap, meaning the humans actually have capacity to have frequency connections really up to here, and
What level is that?
up to the angels. And so dead people can connect down here, and so these are not necessarily separate, and yet we can't see forever, just like our eyes cannot see ultraviolet light, but we know ultraviolet light is there, right? Violet light is there, we know that, but our eyes can't see it. But if we had some kind of a special machine, it'd say, look, right there's ultraviolet light. So that's the same thing as these layers. So they're with us at all times, even though we might not have passage to those realms. Well, how do you get passage to those realms? Passage is frequency, right? Frequency, vibration. So there has to be, like in the movies, you give a thumbprint on the little machine, it lets you through because it's got your vibrational thumbprint, this. Okay, so it's without the body, it's an energetic print that allows passage. So when the person dies and they get to this realm right here, some people will stay in that realm until they get passage.
What realm is that?
We're just looking at it like this, but it's really not. You know what I mean? But so our brain can comprehend it. So we're saying when you die, you go to the next level up. But that's not where angels are, okay? Because you don't have passage to go to the angels. You don't have frequency to go to the angels, okay? So why don't you have passage and frequency? Because you have anger, fear, judgment, because you have all the lower frequencies that you haven't cleared that are attached to your body. So everybody who dies kind of ends up at their frequency range, whether that's in level 1, level 2, and we're not saying that's good or bad, we're just making numbers, okay? Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, wherever that is. And so your goal on the earth plane is to clear so that you can arrive at the higher levels of light and peace. And if you arrive at the lower levels of light and peace, then you still got to do what you didn't do here. And what's that? Forgive the person you're pissed off at. You know what I mean? So your weight, like your atomic weight, is your emotional energetic structure, and that's what gives you passage when you die, or not. And the goal, of course, is to have a clear spirit, where you could say, where they stopped you at the gate and they said, who are you mad at? You can say, I'm mad at no one. That no one has done me wrong. That I have no affair with anyone. Then you get passage. Okay? And if you say, my fucking husband, that's then they say, you don't have passage. You have to stay
Wait a
here.
second, I'll go get him for you.
So it's our goal to clear. It's our goal to clear. That's what our goal is. So, okay, so if we go back up here, so we don't really know what God is other than source, and then there's light, which is again frequency, and we can't really talk or even be in that presence because it's just so different. So angels are the highest vibration that is an intermediary for us. They can certainly see higher realms and go into higher realms because their frequency is so pure. They can have some interaction with us, but really the majority of interactions that we're getting is spirit guides, not angels. Because angels, y'all, are so frequency different. That would be like saying, like, you're going to go live in the anthill. You know what I mean? It's an energy difference than where they are. They're in a place where love and frequency is all there is. And yes, they can descend into this horrible mud soup that we've created as Earth, but that is very, very hard. And it's very hard for them to spend any time here. So if we say, well, you know, they were here 5 minutes, that is eternity for them in mud. Okay? The other thing, remember, every time they descend into darkness, and we're going to call it darkness because it's in chaos, insanity, lower frequencies.
Anytime angels descend, is that what you're? Okay.
Mm-hmm. There is a balance of particles, let's call them balance of light particles. And if an angel leaves that, then that balance is askewed. It's very important to keep Earth plane energetically here and not let the chaos override, because as we know, the chaos is very crazy, you know, the wars and the anger and the negativity and the separation from God. So angels keep this in a stable position. And if we all were praying to angels 24/7 and they were all dipping down into our mud, then they're not doing their job of equalizing. And so mostly what we're getting interaction with is spirit guides, not angels. Now we all have an angel. We're all connected with an angel, but it's usually not them doing something on Earth. It's our spirit guides doing something on Earth because they're much closer to the earth plane realm and they're able to manage the energy here almost like a human does. So an angel cannot manage the energy because an angel doesn't have the same etheric bodies we have. Okay, so the reason that we can feel how we feel here, spirit guides actually do have the etheric body that we have, so they can feel and sense. Angels are pure love, pure light, pure love.
So a spirit guide is somebody who's been alive. It's a dead person. Is that what a spirit guide is?
So,
But isn't it an angel too? Or is
It's the
that?
spirit
No,
guide.
an angel's
It's
not
the
the
spirit
same.
guide trying to get to be an angel.
Yeah, don't they
Okay.
kind of move up in ranks?
so let's go back to our God, okay? This was all God. This was all God. And God separated into particles, into light particles. And let's just say these were big blocks of light. And then the angels were half of that. And then collective consciousness was a fourth of that. And a guide was a half of, so that humans are a dot. Okay? So we are all one. What does that mean? This all is one source. So the angelic realm, there are beings of light who never descended past this level. They said, no, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to be in that crap. I don't want to live in a physical body and have that experience. But this other band of angels said, no, man, I gotta go, man, I gotta get down there. And so that particle then descended into a smaller piece, and a smaller piece, and a smaller piece of separated consciousness from the stream of God's light. So the spirit guides, this did descend down. And then once it got down, remember the goal is then to get back up. But their angels never descended. A pure angel did not descend to earth. They've never been to earth. They've never been in a body. They might touch this physical earth, y'all, but they can't live here very long. They'd like saying, could you breathe on Mars? Well, not very long, right? I mean, so they can come here for just a glimmer, but they can't just be here all the time.
So what's an archangel?
They're up here in the angelic realm. Archangels.
Is there a difference in an angel and an archangel?
No, they're a frequency. They're just a frequency. All the angels. But, okay, now, of course, y'all, it's all confusing because when we talk, we're really interjecting angel and spirit guide in conversation when they're really different things. But we're just making this conversation, we say it's the same, but it's not. You see what I mean? So it becomes confusing when I'm saying spirit, and am I saying spirit guide? Am I saying angel? You see what I mean? So we don't really know. But there is a difference. And and we don't collectively talk about it much because most people don't understand it. Anyways, we'll just say it wrong. We'll just say spirit, and then they'll never know who we're talking about. And
So an angel has never been a human on earth?
correct.
So it's not like you move up the ladder,
You do. Okay.
only to a guide.
No, you have to go back up. We are, okay, particles of light, particles of God. These particles stayed in the angel realm. They didn't leave. But some did. This band of 100 people, whatever, they decided, no, I want to descend further. And descending, remember, is the fallen man in the Bible. That's that whole story they're telling us, okay? So these angels said, I want to have individual separated consciousness from God. That's what they were saying they wanted. Because this is not separate consciousness from God. Angel realm is not separate consciousness. Angel realm is infused consciousness of God, okay? But these people were curious, and these people wanted individual consciousness. So then they descended down in particles, and we would just say, like, this is as big of a bus. And then that particle became like a station wagon. And then that little particle became like a little compact car. And this little particle became like a motorcycle. And then now you got your feet. You see what I mean? So it's smaller layers of God. So this energy descended and broke down and broke down and broke down until we're in this human level. And yes, our human goal is to rise up by matching vibrational frequencies to get through the gate to return to the places of light. But there is, to pass the gates, remember we have to be at certain frequency, and the frequency has to be that we've cleared ourselves of anger, that we've cleared ourselves of judgment, that we hold no harm. I mean, so there's a lot of work to be done to be able to do that, as well as we have to be able to detach from the body and who we are, because there is no separation of us here. When you go back up, we are all together as consciousness. So you have to be willing to give that up. That I'm not Cyndy anymore, and you're not Twyla, and you're not Debbie, and we are just returning